Hi there, this is the third match of the tournament in Esbjerg, this time between my deck and a red-green aggro setup that had won its previous two matches. Unfortunately, I didn't press play properly for the first match. I thought I did, but the phone didn't record. So suffice to say that Confused Deadguy won the first match. The game is a bit hazy, but something along the lines of getting out of Dewsum turn 1 with a Black Lotus and kind of protecting that and destroying blockers and getting through that way. So this is the second match after sideboard against the red-green aggro deck. So far it's 1-0 for the Confused Deadguy deck. And my apologies for not having the first match recorded. I'm sure that this will probably happen again, but I'm pretty sure it didn't happen anymore at this particular tournament, at least. So this is after sideboard, and I can't remember what I put in, but as he's a red and green player, I have a feeling that I'm up against whirling dervishes at least. My opponent name is also Martin, but it's a different Martin than the previous opponent. He starts out with a tiger, and I'm on a scrubland with a Mox Jet. And he puts out an Elves Archer. The City of Brass into an Underworld Dreams. So that's a decent drop, turn 2. Okay, there's a Pendelhaven, so this is very much a green aggro deck. The Elves Archer connects, not much I can do about that, but he didn't attack with the factory, and that's because he wanted that whirling dervish. Well, at least we have both lightning bolts and swords to plowshares against it, but we can't really block it with black creatures. But there's a Serendip Freed, so at least that should be able to block the whirling dervish for now and keep it from growing. Also because he can pump it with that Pendelhaven, so there's no reason not to block the whirling dervish. So he attacks, and before I block, he double bolts it just to get rid of it, and that's a big problem because I don't think I have any more creatures in the deck that can actually block that whirling dervish. So he pops it with his Pendelhaven, and I take 4 points of damage. So we need to make something happen here. It's really annoying with that glare. It's an unlucky seeding I have here. So we put up a Dewsum. I suppose at least it can block something else. And there's another factory from the red-green player. So he really puts on the pressure here. That's a lot of creatures. I'm already taking significant damage here. Okay, so here he comes. I suppose the best play here is to block the factory, as that'll at least force him to pump it with the other factory before he bolts me. But he doesn't bolt me. I suppose he used too many on the Serendip before. And he puts down another Elves Archer. If I block the Elves Archer, he can immediately bolt me, and the Archer's first strike would make it so that he'll survive. He'll just fling that arrow into the wounded Djinn and destroy it before the Djinn punches back. Okay, so that's a second Underworld Dreams here. This is brilliant, if only... Oh, that's a Twister, okay. So that's actually 14 points of damage right there, 16 points in his draw step. So this could be quite the turnaround here. So always probably the final chance to get to snatch a victory here. So we need to draw into Mox Ruby or Lotus and Lightning Bolt. There's the Ruby. Okay. And another Mox. There's a Mox Pearl, I think. Okay, so can we make it happen here? He's at 3 life and he'll be at 1 life in his draw step. No, not a single Lightning Bolt. So, very, very close. In his draw step he'll go to 1 life and then he'll attack me with everything, or just... Yeah, he'll probably do that because those chain lightnings could be difficult, as I can bounce them back. I'm not really sure. I think actually if he can kill me with them before I can bounce them back. I think that's the new ruling. Anyway, that's a victory for the red and green aggro deck, so we are now at 1-1. This is a pretty close set, it seems. So we're starting out pretty meekly, both of us. Just putting out lands, and he attacks with his factory at turn 2. Now I like to source to plowshare it. I think my reasoning here was that I need to take care not to take too much damage early on. I'm putting out a library, but he immediately has a strip mine in hand, so that was pretty lucky for him. He puts out a Sol Ring. Okay, so we just continues to destroy each other's mana sources here. I'm definitely trying to put some of his tempo out, because it's such a fast deck. Oh, it seemed to be in the last play. So we continue to try and rob him of some of his steam. Yeah, that was 2 chain lightnings taken from that with that mind twist. That's excellent. So there's the elf doing a single point of damage, and then the Pendelhaven boosts it so it does 2 points of damage instead. And that's the trusty Underworld Dreams. It's not the best blocker in the world, but at least it puts him on a clock, and it's difficult for him to empty his hand and wheel now. There's a Sushi, okay. So that's the first big beater we've seen out of that deck. Not even sure if he plays with Unambience, but anyway, he plays with Sushis. Okay, so we have to do some gen out. It should keep me safe from that Sushi for the time being. But it's not the most defensive creature. Dewsums, they just have it best when they are on the attack. So there comes an Elvis Archer, and there's a clock on both of us, as the Dewsum damages me as much as the Underworld Dream damages him. So I like to attack with the Dewsum Gen. We'll probably try to double block with the Sushi and the Elf. Or he'll just take it on the chin and then counter attack. Okay, he double blocks. And I like to source to plowshares his Sushi. Why on earth don't I source to plowshare his... Okay, I'm thinking why didn't source to plowshare his elf instead in order to give him less life, but I was probably afraid that he would lightning bolt might do some gen. So it's the old trick with waiting for him to double block and then removing one of the blockers just to getting rid of his as many threats as possible. So he counterattacks with the Elvis Archer and puts down a chump blocker, and that Agothian Pixies. This deck is just stock full of green staples. Okay, so he likes to let the Dewsum Gen through. Perhaps he wants to just keep on exchanging damages. He can damage me for 4, but I put out a Vampire. That's a pretty nasty blocker against those critters, as the Vampire will get stronger for each creature it kills. Okay, so he passes the turn here. We're expanding the mana base. Totally stable at this point, and okay, we go in for full scale attack at this point. And he elects to sacrifice the Agolian Pixies. And here comes another Underworld Dreams and a Time Twister. Bam! That's game right there. Such an awesome combo. So the Confused Deadguy wins 2-1. That was an epic match. On to the next battle. We had a user before that had a great suggestion that the Confused Deadguy deck could be called, could also be called Composition A. It's allegedly from a Dutch abstract painter that uses many of the same primary colors for that painting as this deck uses. For the rest of the tournament, I'll stick to Confused Deadguy just to avoid confusion, so that people don't think I've switched deck in the middle of the tournament. But after this, we'll try to see if Composition A is a better fit. It certainly has an original flair to it. Anyway, that's it for this match. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.